and a jumbo jet is taking off at an altitude of about 36 feet. The head of the pilot has been separated from the cockpit. A 29-year-old man is sitting in the co-pilot seat with a knife in his hands. Blood is visible all over the cockpit. Meanwhile, this plane is continuously moving forward in autopilot mode. What happened to this plane? Will the 503 passengers sitting in the plane be able to return to the ground or not? Let's try to understand the whole case in today's video. Hada Airport, Tokyo, Japan, July 23, 1999, a Boeing 747 jumbo jet, which was being operated by all Nippon Airways Flight 61. This plane is a huge plane in itself. That is why 503 passengers started boarding the plane slowly. Apart from these passengers, there were 14 crew members as well, which means a total of 517 people were present in the plane. This plane took off from Hada Airport. Finally, after all the inspections, the plane took off at 11 a.m. The captain of the plane was Nei Nagashima. He was about 51 years old. The co-pilot was Kazuki Koga. He was 34 years old. Both were experienced pilots, but today's flight was going to be a dreadful flight for both of them. The weather in July is usually very hot. This is the reason that all the passengers in the flat were wearing light clothes, but among all of them, there was a 29-year-old man Yuji Nozawa in the economy class who was wearing cool clothes even in the summer season. This man's clothes were also dirty. People sitting in the nearby seats were doubting what kind of a person he was, but everyone remained calm and the plane headed towards its destination. About 25 minutes after takeoff, something happened in the plane which made everyone see death. In a double-decker plane, there are economy class seats on the lower floor, whereas there are premium class seats on the upper floor. The way to reach the cockpit in this plane is through the upper floor. This means that if you want to reach the cockpit of the plane, you cannot go through the lower floor. About 25 minutes after takeoff, the plane reached an altitude of about 36 feet. An announcement was made to open the seat belts in the cabin. After this, all the passengers relaxed by opening their seat belts. After this announcement, the dirty man opened his seat belt and went towards the upper floor. After reaching there, he captured an air hostess by keeping a knife on her throat. After taking control of the air hostess, this man asked her to open the cockpit door. Seeing his death in front of him, the air hostess opened the cockpit door. After this man directly entered the cockpit. As soon as he entered the cockpit, he first of all put a knife on the throat of the captain of the plane, Nagashima, and took him under his control. After this, he sent the 34-year-old co-pilot Kazuki out and closed the cockpit door from inside. While all this was happening, the captain entered the code 7500 in the plane's transponder. This code reached the ATC directly. There is a code which is always used at the time of hijacking. If this code is received by ATC, then it means that the plane has been hijacked. After closing the door, Nishizawa tells the captain to take this plane towards the US Army Air Base in Japan. The captain must be thinking that if he is obeyed, then it is not known where he will make the plane crash, and if such a plane falls in a city, then it can cause a lot of destruction. Thousands of lives can also be lost, so the captain refused to do so. Even after the pilot refused, this person kept trying to force him to take him away. That person also put a knife on the captain's neck and threatened to kill him, but all this had no effect on the captain of the plane. The captain must be thinking that whatever happens, this hijacker will not kill me, because if I am killed, then who will take care of the plane? He will go crazy, and in this case he will also lose his life, so he cannot kill me. However, in the next few minutes, this idea of the captain proved to be fatal for him. Even after repeated requests, when the captain did not turn the plane towards the US Army Air Base, the man got angry and put a knife on the captain's throat and turned it with full force. The captain's throat was now cut, due to which he could not even scream. The captain died within a few moments. The plane was still flying on autopilot mode, so the co-pilot and other passengers outside did not even realize that the captain in whose trust they had given the plane had actually left this world. After the captain's death, the hijacker himself sat in the co-pilot seat and started trying to control the plane. After a few minutes, the plane got stuck in turbulence. After this, the plane started shaking. Seeing all this, the person sitting in the co-pilot seat started moving all the controls of the cockpit here and there without thinking to control the plane. Due to this action of the hijacker, the nose of the plane tilted downwards, and the plane started losing its attitude rapidly. After all this, the co-pilot outside understood that something had happened in the cockpit. After understanding the situation, the co-pilot asked for help from the passengers sitting in the plane. All the passengers with good bodies sitting in the plane were called and the whole situation was explained to them. After this, everyone together decided to go inside the cockpit. Even now the plane was continuously losing its attitude. There were 14 children among the 503 passengers in the plane. These children got scared after seeing the situation and started crying loudly. The air hostess calmed all the children, and on the other hand the co-pilot started trying to open the cockpit door, but the cockpit door was closed from inside. All the people together gave this door to the people. After this, as soon as these people entered the cockpit, the scene they saw was terrifying. This time was heavy on life amidst fear and terror. All the people together first took control of that madman and tied him up and took him out of the cockpit. By now the plane had come down. The situation was under control. To do this, the co-pilot immediately sat in his seat and slowly took control of the plane. After this, the co-pilot immediately told everything to ATC through a radio call, and said that we are coming back to the airport for an emergency landing. Understanding the situation, ATC immediately gave permission for emergency landing. Emergency was declared in the airport. To avoid any kind of untoward incident, fire service and ambulances were stationed on both sides of the runway. The runway was vacated. All flights were cancelled. The only purpose was to land Flight 61 safely by any means. After some time, the plane came back to the airport and landed safely. Immediately after landing, a team of doctors reached the cockpit, but by then the captain had died. The Japanese police took the man into their custody and started investigation. The Japanese police wanted answers to many questions from Yuji Nishizawa. After all, despite so much security in the airport, how did this person enter the plane with so many knives? Why was the X-ray machine checking the luggage at the airport unable to spot this knife? And what was the motive of this person behind doing such a thing? Answers to many such unsolved questions were yet to be found out. When Niskawa was questioned during the investigation, his answers surprised every policeman present in the room. Actually, in the era of 1999, the security of airports and planes was not given as much attention as it is today. This 29-year-old Niskawa used to travel on local flights of Japan. During this time, he noticed a flow in the security system of the airport where people's luggage was searched by the X-ray machine, but the handbags of the passengers were given clearance without any checking. After seeing all this, Niskawa informed the Japan Police Airport Authority and Aviation Department about this flaw and asked them to fix it quickly, but even after that this negligence continued. The security system of the airport remained the same. Even after several attempts, when there was no improvement, a dangerous plan came to Niskawa's mind. He planned to hijack a plane. He bought a lot of tickets for local flights, and in all those flights, he would carry a handbag with him. In this handbag, he kept a sharp knife. Everything was going well according to his plan. His luggage was checked, but his handbag in which the knife was kept was allowed to be taken inside the plane without any checking. When he saw that he could easily carry the knife, then he made a plan to execute the incident. A day before the incident, that is, on July 22, 1999, he bought tickets for a lot of local flights, so that if he missed one flight, he could take another flight. But during this time, his parents saw all the tickets present in his handbag. They even noticed that he was carrying a knife hidden in his handbag. That is why his parents stopped him from boarding the flight, but this man was not going to stop. He took the ticket for the next day. After this he entered Flight 61 with a knife in his handbag. And in this way, with the help of this knife, he carried out the whole incident. From the statement of Nozawa's family members, it was revealed that he had been playing a video game with a plane since childhood. He wanted to fly the plane himself and surprise the whole world by passing it under Tokyo's Rainbow Bridge, but who would give him the plane? Obviously no one, so he made a plan to fly the plane illegally. Even the police were surprised by his statement that how can someone be so psycho? His family members also stated that his mental condition is not good. Later, he underwent many medical tests in which it was proved that Nozawa had many mental problems. He often used to consume such medicines after taking which he would lose control on his own. For years after the accident, in a few days, the court of Japan sentenced this man to life imprisonment. Today, almost 24 years have passed since this incident. Even today, Nozawa is serving his sentence in a Japanese jail. So this was the story of all Nippon Flight 61. If you liked the video, then like it. If you didn't like it, then dislike it, and in both cases subscribe to this channel because there is a lot to learn in this channel. So I will meet you in the next video. Until then, keep watching and keep learning. Jai Hind Vandi Mataram.